Robberies in California have been making headlines. It's becoming a real train wreck. Does this mean California is too soft on crime? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Right now in California, the phrase, "you want to smash?" it means something completely different. California has seen a wave of what's being called smash and grab robberies over the past year, and it's making headlines.
Get on the sidewalk. From the heart of San Francisco to suburban Walnut Creek, highly organized shoplifting crews breaking into high-end retailers, grabbing merchandise, and fleeing. A cluster of getaway cars blocking traffic to aid their getaways.
After breaking inside, one suspect then smashing open the counter, another grabbing as many clothes and skateboards as he could carry, two others running to the back of the store, one filling a bag full of high-end tennis shoes. The owners say the thieves got away with up to $40,000 worth of merchandise, devastating any time for a small business, but especially so during their prime shopping season for the holidays.
Police say this is an escalation of the smash and grab robberies that have been plaguing the area. The criminals armed with hammers, forcing customers to the ground, ordering staff members to hand over valuables under threat.
If you thought the Forever Purge was scary, right now in California it's Forever Black Friday. As more and more reports of robberies plague California, and residents see more crime in their neighborhoods, people are starting to arm themselves with guns. One private security executive said he's even getting inquiries from hardcore leftist Democrats who said they would never own a gun. Not to victim blame, but a great way to get yourself robbed is by going around telling people you would never own a gun. Those with extra money are rushing for bulletproof cars, Rolex replicas, and safe rooms. And even the most open-minded Californians have switched from healing crystals to harming crystals. A study by the think tank Public Policy Institute of California found that both property and violent crimes in California's 4 major cities were up last year compared to a year earlier. Since the crime stats for 2021 haven't been finalized yet, the numbers could change. And the study only looked at Los Angeles, Oakland, San Diego, and San Francisco. It didn't include Fresno because Fresno is the Florida of California. Law and order never existed there. But while retail theft made the most headlines, their study says that car break-ins and auto thefts were what really drove property crime numbers. California Governor Gavin Newsom says property theft isn't just a California problem. It's a larger trend across the nation.
But it's not unique to California. No. You've seen in Chicago, Minnesota.
Okay, but smash and grab robberies are like pizza. They're way worse in California than they are in Chicago and Minnesota, even though they're pretty bad in Chicago and Minnesota. Newsom's remarks haven't prevented him from getting criticized for Democrats' soft-on-crime policies, though. In response, he unveiled a public safety plan last month that includes funding to fight retail theft, among other crime. The plan gives $255 million in grants over 3 years to local law enforcement to increase their presence at retail locations, $30 million in grants over 3 years to prosecute retail theft, and programs to get guns and drugs off the streets.
And I just want to know, we're not only taking this here, we're calling it out. There's no excuse. We don't condone that kind of behavior. We want to arrest and prosecute folks, and we are doing that.
Thousands of people in California are about to be thrown in jail? Somewhere? Kamala Harris is smiling. But California is seeing more than just smash and grab thefts in stores. Newsom has a real train wreck on his hands. I'll explain after the break. Welcome back. It's not just store robberies that are making headlines in the Golden State. Union Pacific, a major railway company operating on the West Coast, has been plagued with train heists in LA County since last fall. This is the most expensive problem in Hollywood involving rails, besides cocaine. This is what a train heist in Los Angeles last week looked like. Tons of unopened boxes and used COVID test kits scattered along the tracks.
It's a stunning sight. Thousands of packages stolen right off of trains. If your UPS or Amazon package hasn't arrived, it might be somewhere here in this mess, discarded on a Union Pacific Railroad track near downtown LA. As freight trains slow down or come to a halt, the thieves leap on board with bolt cutters, open giant containers, and take whatever they want. This is what they leave behind, all these boxes, some empty, some not.
So that's why my Gilmore Girls Complete Series box set hasn't arrived yet. You've gone too far this time, criminals. In fact, Union Pacific says that train robberies are up 356%. That's crazy. Union Pacific probably hasn't seen this many train robberies since 1893. Yes, LA is going back to the Wild West days. Almost as wild as Fresno. Union Pacific reported at least $5 million in damages last year, which doesn't include the loss to customers. In response, the company has deployed more drones, bought extra security, and enlisted the help of city, state, and county law enforcement. They even purchased some harming crystals. But it's not just Union Pacific or California that's affected by train robberies. A majority of the nearly $450 billion in goods coming from the Los Angeles and Long Beach ports are transported by train. Together, those ports account for 40% of the nation's imported goods. So if freight trains that serve those ports are regularly being hijacked, that creates a problem for everyone, especially innocent Gilmore Girls Complete Series box set-less reporters in New York City. In a plea for help, Union Pacific wrote a letter last month to LA County District Attorney George Gascon. It said that over the past 3 months, more than 90 freight containers were being compromised per day. Since December 2020, Union Pacific has experienced more than a 160% increase in criminal rail theft in Los Angeles County. Not only do these dramatic increases represent retail thefts, they include increased assaults and armed robberies of Union Pacific employees. This is a terrible time to work in transportation. People on trains are assaulting you while wearing masks, and people on planes are assaulting you because they don't want to wear masks. Union Pacific urged Gascon to reconsider a directive he made that radically changed prosecution policies in LA County. I'll talk more about what that is after the break. Welcome back. A lot of people in California are understandably upset with the surge in crime. Many blame what's called soft-on-crime policies. The idea that government leaders are encouraging crime by defunding the police and decreasing penalties for crimes. Now, there's a debate on whether being tough on crime, in other words, advocating harsher penalties, actually reduces crime. I have to think if the penalty for jaywalking was death, the Beatles' Abbey Road would have definitely had a different cover. But whether being tough or soft on crime works, LA County DA Gascon has found himself at the center of that debate. He came into office in December 2020 on a progressive platform advocating for intervention and rehabilitation as opposed to more tough-on-crime policies. He reversed many long-standing policies. That includes no longer prosecuting some kinds of misdemeanors or charging defendants with long sentences, even for serious crimes like murder. This is a rare move even among progressive district attorneys. In particular, he eliminated LA's cash bail system, which he said at the time unfairly targeted the poor. Well, if he decides to bring it back, it won't be as much of a problem, since criminals now have way more cash. In its letter to Gascon, Union Pacific complained that LA's light sentencing policies were the reason railway thefts had skyrocketed. Criminals are caught and arrested, turned over to local authorities for booking, arraigned before the local courts. Charges are reduced to a misdemeanor or petty offense, and the criminal is released after paying a nominal fine. These individuals are generally caught and released back onto the streets in less than 24 hours. The letter went on to say that criminals caught by Union Pacific employees brag that their charges will be pled down to simply trespassing. While trespassing can lead to jail time, it's up to the DA's office to decide what charges someone will face. The rail company said it was thinking about moving its business out of LA County if the DA's office didn't reconsider its sentencing policies. Union Pacific said UPS and FedEx are already trying to avoid LA County for the same reason, instead of avoiding LA for the usual reason. It's a god-awful excuse for pizza. Gascon is not just facing criticism from businesses and Republicans who disagree with its policies. LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, who is also a Democrat, bypassed Gascon and went straight to federal prosecutors with a case involving the killing of an off-duty LAPD officer. Villanueva said he was concerned Gascon's office wouldn't pursue heavy enough charges. But it's not just Gascon whose policies are being blamed for an uptick in crime. Many cite California's Proposition 47, a ballot measure approved in 2014 by California voters that changed some theft and drug offenses from felonies to misdemeanors. In particular, critics blame Prop 47 for giving a break to shoplifters. Before Prop 47, someone could be charged with a felony for stealing over $450 in merchandise. After Prop 47 passed, that amount increased to $950. Man, inflation is so bad it's even hitting the laws now. Whether a change in the law that was enacted over 6 years ago is having an effect, it's hard to say. But in an interview, Gascon suggested that it may be. He said, "I've heard merchants say that the thieves come in with a calculator and they start adding the dollar amount to how much they're going to take to make sure that they don't go over the threshold. It's very crazy." It is crazy, but it'd make for an amazing game show. Supermarket Swipe. Whoever steals the most without it being a felony wins. So what do you think? How should California reduce crime? Leave your comments below. And if you like the show, please know we could not do it without direct support from viewers like you. Visit patreon.com/AmericaUncovered and contribute $1 or more per episode to help us keep the show going. So click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.